Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we will be analyzing song by Lady Mary Wroth. I'm trying something new. Instead of recording an audio, I'm using an AI voiceover. Let me know if this works better for you. It surely works better for me. On with the video. Since this poem is simply written, this analysis won't be like my other ones where I try to decipher every single thing. Instead, I will try to link the poem as much as I can with human nature and psychology. Now I'm no psychologist, I haven't officially studied psychology, but as a Martian who has seen the bizarre interactions of humans on TV, I think I'm qualified to break down the main things. Anyway, first we will be reading the poem, then I'll give a brief overview of things, then analyze the title, before analyzing the poem stanza by stanza, linking most of it to psychological aspects. Let's read the poem now. Love, a child is ever crying. Please him, and he straight is flying. Give him he the more is craving. Never satisfied with having. His desires have no measure. Endless folly is his treasure. What he promiseth he breaketh. Trust not one word that he speaketh. He vows nothing but false matter. And to cozen you he'll flatter. Let him gain the hand, he'll leave you. And still glory to deceive you. He will triumph in your wailing. And yet cause be of your failing. These his virtues are, and slighter. Are his gifts, his favours lighter. Feathers are as firm in staying. Wolves no fiercer in their preying. As a child then leave him crying. Nor seek him so given to flying. Now that we're done with the reading, let's proceed to the overview. In a number of places you will see people saying the persona in this poem is anti-men or anti-love. But reading this poem brings a sense of the persona explaining to young women not to confuse lust with love, since everything she says is not related to love, but lust. She talks about pleasure through the words please, desire, flatter, and love is beyond pleasure, it's about understanding and taking responsibilities. She uses rhyming couplets to make something so grave sound so casual, highlighting the attitude of men these women foolishly fall victim to. How through the art of language and flattery they are able to triumph. When saying you, the persona not only addresses her female readers, she mainly addresses those inexperienced female readers who confuse lust with love. Let's look at some of the definitions of love before going towards analyzation, to see if what I'm saying is correct or not. These are screenshots from an article called Top 6 Definitions of Love That Everyone Should Know. I'll be discussing the things I have highlighted. People often confuse love and lust. This is exactly what I was talking about. Love and lust are two different things. Lust is based on desire and pleasure, both of which are temporary, and people get tired of doing or having the same thing over and over again. Love, on the other hand, is not temporary, unless an unpassable obstacle comes between the two parties. It's not based on delight, it's based on the need to care and fulfill your moral obligations towards someone. Love is never rushing into relationships. Give time to yourself and your partner. Take things slow. There's no idea of taking things slow in this poem. It's one thing after the other. The relationship ends as quickly as it starts. Analyze that. Would you be willing to share a common bond in the following years? There is no image of the persona analyzing the supposed lover. She gives, he takes, he gets bored, he leaves. He has given no sign of a lifelong commitment. Love is giving yourself a chance. Another great point. In the poem, the women do not give themselves a chance, they just do what their lovers ask. There is obviously a lack of communication. Why would someone love another if everything is one-sided? It may seem like men want women who prefer silence, always stand behind their husbands no matter what they do. That's not the case. Why would you want to live your life with a wall? One would want to live life with intellectual talks and such. Minions are boring. Someone who is ready to outline your flaws and help you is someone to be cherished. The last stanza is particularly important. Ultimately, love is accepting the other person for who they are. Encouraging your partner to achieve their dream and respecting each other is true love. True love is a divine feeling that gives a feeling of being complete. It is worth fighting and taking efforts for each other. Love is being there for each other through the thick and thin. Love cannot be defined in words but can be expressed through actions. Love is being someone's strength, and love can be found in small gestures. I completely agree with all that's written here, but only if all that's written is two-sided. One side loving the other, while the other lustfully exploiting the naive one, will obviously end badly. After going through all of that, it's pretty obvious the word love is used ironically. What the persona is talking about is lust. Now that we are done with a brief overview of everything, let's see the significance of the title. With the title Song, you don't really know what to expect from the poem. When someone asks me to listen to a song, my immediate thought is not about the song being negative, the contrary actually. Which is strange since a lot, if not most, of the songs I listen to are negative. I ask someone the same thing, that if someone asks you to listen to a song, do you initially think it will be positive or negative? The reply was probably positive or somewhere in the middle. The main purpose of most songs is to allow the listener have a good time. If the person has a good time, they are most likely going to listen it more than once and sing along, attracting another to do the same, and so on. So, when you are asked to listen to this song, and you are presented with a very cynical tone, it takes you a moment to adjust to it. One way to theorize would be that the poet wants you to feel what a naive girl feels when she is left by someone who she thinks loves her by presenting a cynical persona. Initially there is a change in mood when you're suddenly subjected to a melancholic song. Then the song leaves a lingering feeling of dread and pain at times if you can relate to the song. That's what I can make out of this. Let's continue to the rest of the poem. Love, a child is ever crying. By love, the persona may not be talking about the emotion, but the nickname the women give to the men in question. She describes love as an ever-crying child, making it seem like a universal statement for men. She shows men as beings who would pretend to be miserable to make women pity him and take under their love and affection to please him. Pleasing someone gives you a feeling of accomplishment, and these women fall into this trap that gives temporary self-satisfaction and perpetual guilt. All that the women give the men is supposedly materialistic, since the men, the persona talks about, act as babies and the women treat them that way. There is no intellectual exchange of thoughts or ideas between the two parties. It's human instinct to strive for something to make it meaningful. If these men aren't striving, they are getting what they want without working, they will not care much about the women they leave behind. If the prince did not have to slay the dragon to get the princess, and she was just married off to him while sitting in a comfortable bed, do you think he'll consider the marriage to be as victorious as it would have been if he had struggled to reach his goal? The women need to act selfishly in these situations. Please him, and he straight is flying. The pause after a please him gives a sense the persona is remembering her heart was toyed with, and now feels humiliated or regrets her carefree nature that did not acknowledge the deceptive nature of certain men. The use of the word flying perhaps shows men experiencing euphoria, also telling us the bird needs to land once more to get another boost of adrenaline. The flying creature is alone, that doesn't take anyone with it. Love is about taking the person with you. Give him he the more is craving. If someone gave you a brick of chocolate you did not earn, you're going to ask for more. If you have to work for that brick of chocolate, let's say write an entire essay for it, will you eat it slowly, savoring the taste, allowing it to last for as long as possible? Probably, if you're like me. Same is the case here. When you give him, he craves for more since it's so easy for him to get more of what is being offered. Never satisfied with having. The use of the word never is very harsh, hence we also get the idea that the persona is saying this in a vengeful tone. She then tells us how men are greedy and desperate for their desires to be fulfilled and are never satisfied, hence they either keep returning or go from one woman to the next. The full stop at the end of the stanza gives a tone of finality and that no one can change the thoughts of the lyrical voice. His desires have no measure. Endless folly is his treasure. The women the persona warns are those who let their endless folly, which I assume to be motherly instincts, interfere in the process of finding a compatible partner to start a family with. Instead of going for someone who are a bit reserved and a challenge for them, they settle for the men who disguise themselves as inferiors, eventually dropping their facades when their desires, which is the foundation for lust, have been fulfilled. So the persona not only talks about lust instead of love, she talks about manipulation as well. This also shows these men are only interested in material, not something spiritual, highlighting one of the human weaknesses. Clearly, the main issue is that these women are giving into their need for self-validation by deceiving themselves into thinking they are helping those in need, and unrealistically considering the affection they receive in return to be love instead of lust. In my opinion, the persona is trying to tell the women they need to be careful and learn to critically break down the situation at hand before making a move. The persona further says, "What he promiseth he breaketh. Trust not one word that he speaketh," showing they should not believe in everything men tell them, especially if it's the case where these men need their help. The persona acquires a grave tone as she warns the reader to look for the lies men will speaketh and the promises they will breaketh to lure women into their trap. This makes the reader aware of the risk of falling in love without weighing the advantages and disadvantages of the relationship. Another thing is, how can you expect a man who needs a stranger to stand up on his feet to be the head of the house? Most of us know how Ted Bundy got his victims. If you don't, according to Crime Museum, Bundy would prey on these women with a ruse, often wearing his arm in a sling or his leg in a fake cast and walking on crutches. He would then use his charm and fake disability to convince his victims to help him carry books or unload objects from his car. So the persona highlights the deceptive nature of men, simultaneously explaining women have to strengthen themselves, prioritize themselves instead of blindly prioritizing others, not thinking about the possible tragic endings. Lastly, the full stops at the end of the stanza give a sense of certainty and finality. He vows nothing but false matter. A paradox is created in the phrase vows nothing but false matter, showing that these men will deceive you without you realizing it. They make you believe in their righteousness, but they are cruel and do not recognize the true value of a vow. And to cousin you he'll flatter. The word flatter reminds us of the insignificance of flattery in what is supposed to be a substantial relationship, since actions speak louder than words. Let him gain the hand, he'll leave you. She makes it known this relationship is based on personal gain. For the woman it will be to allow self-validation, for the man it will be all that the woman gives. It could be bodily actions, or finances, or something else. As you can see, everything substantial is in the hands of these men, and nothing in the hands of the women, hence gaining the hand for them is so simple. Why would they value what they have earned with little to no work at all? The pause after "let him gain the hand" gives a sense of suspense, making the reader anticipate what's to come next. And still glory to deceive you. The persona explains glory is all that matters to these men who fail to differentiate morality from immorality. They are here to use those women who allow themselves to be used. The use of pauses throughout the stanza allows the persona to make her thoughts more dramatic and for the reader to allow all these ideas sink in so that they can process all that she has to say. He will triumph in your wailing, and yet cause be of your failing. The idea of triumph as well as glory gives the impression that trapping women through their deceptive schemes is all a game to these men, and that their goal is to win. Hence the women end up failing due to their folly. Furthermore, the image of wailing is brutal as we see the women in agony, and the pause makes this sickening image stay in the reader's minds for longer. These his virtues are, and slighter are his gifts, his favors lighter. The lyrical voice uses sarcasm when talking about the virtues of these men when in reality she means vices. She highlights these men give nothing concrete, but just worldly things like gifts, which he may see as favors when in the eyes of the women, these gifts are like curses. It shows the unapologetic nature of man. Feathers are as firm in staying. This could highlight the improbability of these men staying with you, since feathers are not firm in staying, they fly away. The fricative enforces the gift of bitterness they leave behind. Wolves no fiercer in their preying. She compares men to wolves, hence associating them with bestial imagery, and the word preying directly gives a predatory image, hence allowing the lyrical voice to describe the nature of men driven by passion in its purest form. Some control it, some don't. As a child then leave him crying, nor seek him so given to flying. She once more relates him to a child, to give the idea that women have a soft corner for children and they will look after them, and this is what they have to control. The persona hence advises the reader not to give way to the consequences of wanting to seem like the bigger person. When you choose to care for an egg, the bird to emerge will last be seen flying away. The full stop at the end of the poem gives a tone of finality, as if the persona says this is the last time she is explaining this to her readers. There is not much more she can do to allow them to correct their follies. That's it for this video, hope you liked it. Comment your analyses and interpretations so I could help you develop your arguments and whatnot. As usual, I'm leaving tips on the screen for you to follow. Do like and subscribe, it helps a lot. Take care, bye.